Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. We are coming to you live from the Holiday Inn Express here in beautiful Uvalde, Texas. Why? Well, we're down here for the Gundy Awards, but we did promise you that no matter what, if something important happened in Olympia, we would let you know. And you know what? I think there's some really important stuff happening in Olympia. I just had a deep geek out session with Julie Barrett of the Conservative Ladies of Washington. We've been carefully tracking everything in Olympia today, and I think we have some important updates for you. So today, let's spend a few very important minutes to talk about the two gun control bills that are ready to pass in Washington State. Okay, so like we were saying, we are coming to you live here from Uvalde, Texas. I'm sorry about the camera. I'm sorry about the lighting. I'm sorry about the audio. This is the best I got with a Microsoft Surface. However, we got really important things, as I mentioned earlier. Julie Barrett and I have been doing a lot of geeking out today, a lot of communicating. We've been very carefully watching what's going on in Olympia. There's been some big developments on two separate bills, and I want you to be aware of that, okay? Let's talk about the bills that are really poised right now to be passed. If we were going to put one in the number one, the inside lane right now, that is Senate Bill 5078. Senate Bill 5078 is the FFL liability bill. Now, if we just go ahead and take a look at the legislative website and we see what happened today, we will see that this bill came out of executive session from the Ways and Means Committee with a recommendation to pass. At this point, there is nowhere else for this bill to go but to a floor vote. If this bill was going to die, it would have stayed in that Ways and Means Committee. So we anticipate 5078 to be sent to the floor for a vote as early as Monday or Tuesday. Now, there is a big change to 5078, and this is mildly good news, especially for those in the FFL industry. There was a substitute to this bill, which was actually accepted today. So the bill has changed a little bit, and there's two big components that have been removed from this bill, and this is good news for FFLs. Because you see, when we take a look at the new Senate bill report on the substitute bill, we'll see that there have been three significant changes made to this bill now, and they include the following. It provides now a process to object to civil investigative demands related to a violation of the firearm industry member's duties. It now prohibits the Attorney General from sharing information with a law enforcement agency conducting a criminal investigation obtained in response to a civil investigative demand unless disclosures is required pursuant to a search warrant. And this is really important. It removes the private right of action against firearms industry members. So without getting too far into it, it has watered that bill down some. That's good news. The bad news is it is on the launching pad. It is getting a vote. It's going to pass out of the Senate. Onto the House it goes, and we'll see what happens there. Okay, the other bill that you guys need to be aware of course, is House Bill 1143, pre-purchasing licensing requirements. Now, that also went into executive session today, and something unique has happened because it came out of executive session with a recommendation to pass, which means it's now been through two committees, come out of both committees, and with a recommendation to pass, all right? However, at this point, when we take a look at the website and we see what's happening with the bill, we see that today this bill was referred back to Rules to review. Now, without getting too far into the woods, what this basically is that the party leaders are going to start prioritizing which bills need to get to the floor, in which order, and which bills they may not have the political will or power to do. Do I believe that 1143 is going to die here? No, I do not. Neither does Julie Barrett. We believe that this has been far too much energy. It's made it through two committees. It's passed out of both committees. It is this close to being dropped on the House floor. We do believe that House Bill 1143 will make it to the House floor later part of next week and be voted. We do anticipate that that will pass and move on to the Senate. But there is a huge amendment to House Bill 1143, and it creates yet another opportunity for all of us to kill the bill. Because according to the Washington State Legislature, now substitute House Bill 1143 apparently expands the exemption from firearm safety training for law enforcement officers to cover peace officers as a normal part of their duties who have arrest powers and can carry a firearm. It also allows law enforcement agencies to charge a reasonable fee to recover the cost of taking and transmitting fingerprints. Unfortunately, it also now reinstates the authority for the healthcare authority and healthcare entities to release to law enforcement information relevant to a person's eligibility to possess a firearm. Here's an interesting one. It now requires the Department of Licensing to retain records of all firearm transfers, and this is really important, delays the effective date of this bill until January 1st of 2025. So there are some good changes to 1143, and there are some bad changes. The most important one, though, is they now do not want to even implement that law, if passed, until 2025. Now, let us not forget that this entire legislative scheme is currently being challenged in Oregon under ballot measure 114. So by the time 2025 rolls around, it's going to be a great likelihood that we'll have a very clear picture on whether or not people actually need to obtain a license before they can exercise a constitutionally guaranteed right. Now, the other two areas that we were really concerned about, one was the semi-automatic rifle ban, assault weapon ban. That's House Bill 1240. That went into Rules 2 way back on January 31st, and folks, it has not been heard from since. It does not appear that that bill is going to advance out of that committee. The other bill, the one that had this guy here really freaked out, was any kind of erosion or repealing of state preemption, predominantly through House Bill 1178. That bill had a pulse for a while, but it flatlined several weeks ago, and no one has bothered to revive it yet. We certainly are not going to encourage them to do so. So it appears right now that any erosion or eradication of state preemption is probably not likely this legislative session. It also appears that any type of semi-automatic rifle ban is highly improbable this legislative session. I do think we are heading for votes on both pre-purchasing licensing, and yes, if you're in the FFL industry, there is absolutely a huge new liability and public nuisance bill coming your way. That's where we sit on Friday, February 24th at 9:39 Texas time. I'm going to get this video edited real fast and get it out to you. If you guys got any other questions about what's happening in Olympia, you know the drill. You can always contact us at WashingtonGunLaw.com, or you can call us directly at 425-765-0487. In the meantime, all of you, remember, the only way that you can always be the lawful and responsible gun owner is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.